Pastors and leaders, in this video, I want to talk about why you might consider making the switch to the PursueGOD.org content for small groups. The big idea here in this video is that the small group content at PursueGOD.org can revolutionize your church. It can allow your church to become a church that has what we call a discipleship culture, a mentoring culture, where you're not just building consumers and takers, but you're actually, because of the tools that you're using, you're actually building leaders and mentors. So if you're not familiar with the Pursue God resources, you might want to just check those out and click on how it works and check out some of those life topics and faith topics. And all this stuff is updated every single week. So there's always new content to choose from, and it's built from sources all around, trusted sources all around the world. And you might also want to check out the Teams and Training link under Ministry Tools. If you want to learn more about small groups, that's a great place to go and take some of our small group training. But for this video, I just want to explain how this small group content really does revolutionize your church. See, typical Bible studies tend to be study focused. You might have a workbook, you might have DVDs that you pop in, and you're doing a study together. A lot of times it typically tends to be sort of Bible or theologically based content, and you're filling in blanks, and it tends, as a result, it really tends to sort of be inward. You know, you're meeting the needs of your group, but what tends to happen is you're creating a small environment that reflects your church environment. So in church at a typical Sunday service, you've got a preacher up there preaching and everyone's listening. And a lot of small groups tend to be the same way. You pop in a video, you hear someone preaching and everyone's listening. So again, it tends to create consumers who are really only thinking about themselves, and they have a hard time sort of exporting what they're learning to the rest of their world. And by contrast, the Pursue God content is conversational. And so if you check out our Pursue God resources, and in fact, if you click on how it works, you can learn this thing that we call the Flex method. And the Flex method explains how you can just find a topic at PursueGOD.org, and there's all kinds of topics to choose from. So let's say that we're going to pick something under life issues. And as you find a topic, the whole group can click on that particular topic, and you can talk through. What it does is it sets up a great conversation for your small group. A lot of these have summary articles. Most of them have videos, and all of them have discussion questions at the bottom of it. And so with the Flex method, you're finding a topic as a small group. Everyone ahead of time is able to learn about it on their own with the video, with the article, with the discussion questions, and the additional resources on that particular topic. And so when people show up to small group, now they're ready to do that last step in the Flex method, which is to explore it together. But see, everybody's ready to participate in the conversation because you're not just showing up waiting to listen to somebody tell you something for 30 to 45 minutes. And so that's the Flex method, and it tends to be very, very conversational when you're using the method simply and really reproducibly. And so as a result, that content can go viral throughout your small group and even throughout your church. And here's what I mean by that. Now, you can use that same Flex method in your marriages. So people in a small group that are using those resources very simply now can go home and do the very same thing with their husband or their wife. They can go into the resources, and probably they're going to start by checking out some of the stuff in marriage and parenting, and they can go through individual conversations on that each week, or they can even take a series together as a couple, and they're using that same simple methodology. Again, we call it the Flex method, and they're finding that topic every week as a couple. They're coming together after they've learned about it on their own. They're coming together for a couple's devotional time once a week is what we encourage. And now what they're doing is they're becoming leaders, and they're going beyond their small group, beyond their church environment, and they're bringing these conversations into their marriage and also into their families. They can do the same thing if you've got kids at home. You can go check out the stuff that we have just for youth or just for kids. And same thing, you're going through there, and now you're doing, instead of just leaving it at your small group, now you're having these life-changing conversations with your kids. You're teaching your kids how to think about truth from a biblical worldview, how to think about these life issues from a biblical worldview. You're teaching them habits, you're teaching them values, you're teaching them all of these things that great parents want to do for their kids. And because of the content at PursueGOD.org, you can take that home to your marriage and to your family. And then even this content allows you then to also become a mentor. And what a mentor is just someone who is using that same methodology and the same resources, because it's so simple and there's such a wide array of topics to choose from at PursueGOD.org, that you're doing on a smaller scale what your small group is already doing on that larger scale. And now you're going one-on-one or one-on-two with somebody, and you're learning how to mentor them, because again, you're using the same resources, the same methodology, and because your small group uses those resources and that methodology, now you feel equipped and empowered to go out there and to be a disciple maker, to be a mentor, to be a leader, rather than just being a consumer and a taker in a small group where only the small group leader gets to talk. And so that's how the small group content at PursueGOD.org can revolutionize your church. Now, again, I encourage you to check out these resources. Go into the ministry tools item and go to teams and training. You can check out all of these resources, but I especially encourage you to check out that small group team training. And you can go through in that particular page. You can go through the small group training series and the mentor training series, and there's the other training series as well, to learn more about how to use these resources to revolutionize your church and your small group ministry.